Hey, sports fans, football season is here, and it's time to get in on the action with MyBookie.net. MyBookie has real Vegas odds and incredible player props for all your favorite sporting events. MyBookie offers in-game live action on all pro and college football games. There's no better time to join MyBookie than today. Pull out your smartphone and visit our user-friendly mobile site for adrenaline on demand. Open your browser and type in MyBookie. What are you waiting for? Call 844-722-2387 or go online to join MyBookie today. No deposit necessary. Terms and conditions apply. Play for fun only. Void where prohibited.
Have a product, service, or website to advertise on the biggest show in the world? The SBTV Nation podcast reaches tens of thousands of the best sports fans on the planet in over 194 countries worldwide. Take your business to the next level by advertising with us. Call us now at 872-529-SBTV or email us at sbtvnation@gmail.com.
Studio check.
Frequencies check.
We are live on air.
You are listening to the In Fact Blessing, the airwaves. Take the journey into the world of sports, news, entertainment, while embracing the hottest beats on the planet. Rocking the mind, body, and with energy, electricity, and a splash of controversy. Now, without further ado, it's our pleasure to bring to you
the biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world. The SBTV Nation.
The dream is finally in the house, and I can hear my music today. What's going on, y'all? Today is Friday, and I'm happy to be here. What's happening, Met player?
Oh, what's up, Dream? I'm sure you're feeling pretty good after the Arizona Cardinals layeth the smacketh down on the 49ers last night.
Feeling good? I'm a Niner fan. What are you talking about?
Well, not when you're gambling on sports.
No,
You're always
I'm
fading the Niners.
Fading gambler. Yeah, I am a Niner fan, and I'm not feeling good about the Niners' current situation, but the thing about me, I keep it real.
Yes.
And what is really going on is the Niners are in a bad situation right now.
They are. Well, you know what? and guys, excuse my voice. I am very sick. I got this thing that's been bothering me all week, but I am here. I can't call out of the biggest show in the world. I'm here rocking with you.
That's the voice of losing, bro.
Yeah. Shut up. Such an idiot, man. You know what? Hey, so I was watching the game, and the Niners beat themselves, Dream. I mean, they were up 7-0, had all the momentum in the world. They get the tip ball, interception by Arizona. They put the ball in the end zone with no defenders around, by the way. I mean, it is one of the elite wideouts in all of football, in the history of football, being Larry Fitzgerald, who just walked into the end zone. Then to come out, the kickoff, they received the kickoff in the second half and fumbled right out the gate, Dream. All of a sudden, you blink your eye, and it's 14-0 Arizona.
The thing about the Niners is there was a lot of sloppiness last night, a little bit of distraction maybe. You have to worry about or have some concern about the sloppiness, failure to execute, and talk about all that. And then we stop and we point the finger at the one Chip Kelly, as that's all, that's all under his watch right now.
It is.
Told you I don't like Chip Kelly as a professional NFL head coach. I think he's got... Listen, the guy's a genius. I'm not going to take anything away from him. The guy's a genius.
Right.
But his style does not work in the NFL. It works with college. It works with the college kids. On that level, it's a lot more effective than on an NFL on a professional level. And, there's no shame in that. I mean, Nick Saban was not able to be a successful NFL coach either.
Right.
So There's no shame in that. We talked about it. You could just spot things in Philly. I was devastated when the Niners picked him up. I knew they were in a bad spot, though. I wanted to give this guy a chance. I was devastated that they went in that direction because I thought that the writing was pretty much on the wall in Philadelphia, that he was not a good NFL head coach. But, they still allowed him to come on this team. Now, what I don't want them to do is be stubborn and stay with him. I just, at the end of the season, hey, listen, I don't think this is working out. We like you, whatever, and let him go because it is not going to get better.
Well, you think they're only going to give him 1 year, Dream?
You gotta let him out.
You gotta give the guy a chance at least here, man. I mean, you know what? Every coach that's been successful has had one bad year at least.
You got to give it. But see, my thing is the Niners. It's like they went backwards with him.
All right.
So, okay, what I'm saying. First, he already shows his inability to coach in Philadelphia. And now you look at the success over there after parting ways with him. And the Niners, they don't have... Listen, you're talking about the Niners, you're talking about a franchise as successful as the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, you're talking about a successful franchise. There is not a whole lot of wiggle room for you to come in there. It's not Cleveland, player, where you could just be bad and we're like cool with it because we're used to losing. No. The Niners want to win now. They were in the Super Bowl 4 years ago.
I know.
Okay? And now they're one of the worst teams in football. They don't have that kind of patience.
They don't have that kind of patience. Now, you got to – the thing is, and I'm not really defending – I guess I'm defending the guy, but you got to look what he's got to work with, Dream. I mean, he's got Blaine Gabbert and Colin Kaepernick. Think about that for a minute. You don't really have a whole hell of a lot to work with over there.
Cowboys got Dak Prescott.
Yeah, and Dak is dope. I take Dak over both those guys any day.
Dak is this year. Like this year, they gave him straight. They didn't know Dak was going to be dope, and they also execute like they're supposed to. You look at Carson Wentz. I mean, we've got a bunch of nobodies playing quarterback right now, having a lot of success. By the way, just one more person that Chip Kelly might have been associated with. Do you not remember Sam Bradford?
Yes.
He had no success. He didn't have success with Sam Bradford. The Minnesota having.
But he's not dazzling me. I mean, he's got a good defense. Anybody with a halfway decent defense is going to do well in the NFL, Dream.
The Niners have a good defense, Hat.
I don't know. They give up a lot of yards. And they give up about 26 or 27 points a game, Dream. So, I mean, they do stop. They do have key stops in third down situations. They do force a lot of field goals and stuff like that. But last night, I don't know where the breakdowns were in the secondary. It was like there was nobody to be found, especially around Larry Fitzgerald. I was just shocked. And it's just amazing how you just don't dial up defenses to contain these superstar wide receivers. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. But anyway, hey, the Niners stink. They are 1-4 now, and the Arizona Cardinals are 2-3. Dream, do you believe that the NFC champion or the NFC championship game last year was Arizona versus Carolina, and look where they are this year? Horrible.
I knew that
because Arizona, they don't dazzle me either. I mean, I know they had Drew Stanton at the helm and all that, but they're not all that either.
Their defense is pretty good.
Okay. Halfway decent. I don't think this team is going to do that well this year, though. As well as last year. I don't see them making a run at all. But I could tell you this much, and I'm glad we're talking about this. You know, teams moving forward and teams. I don't feel that there are a couple of elite teams that you know are going to be there come AFC, NFC championship time and being in the Super Bowl. I don't see it, Dream. I don't see any real dominant teams. Do you? Besides Denver, I know you love Denver.
Because they're dope.
Yeah, I know, but think about it, though.
Denver's dope.
All right.
Pat is off the hook with their offense. Incredible.
Okay.
All right. Philly, I know, is taking us by surprise, but I like the way they're doing it. I got a lot of faith in Philly. And unfortunately, Dallas fans, sit back when I say this. I have more faith in Philly and Carson Wentz than I do with Dak Prescott. Unfortunately, I still think Dallas can have some success as well. But right now, you have to look at what Philly's doing and respect it.
You do. But I have a feeling that they're going to get upset this weekend, and we'll talk about that on Sunday.
Oh, son, please.
I'm serious.
Stop.
I'm serious. All right. I'm just putting it out there now.
So now, let's go. Let's look at the rest of the landscape of the NFL as far as being. Why are you laughing?
The landscape, son. The landscape. Go ahead.
As far as being good, do you believe in Minnesota? Because
I don't. I'm struggling with Minnesota. Minnesota's defense is outstanding. I mean, they did shut down Carolina. They did shut down the New York Giants, which who the hell knows who the Giants are these days.
I know who
there's no elite team right now. People are going to say, "Oh, Tom Brady's back, and it's going to be the Patriots." Blah 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 blah. I don't necessarily know that. Dream. Any team can go into any stadium and lose right now. Any team.
The Patriots is not going into Miami Stadium and losing.
They do every year. What are you talking about?
Neither is Denver.
Every year, kid. Every year the Dolphins beat them.
Any team, The
Any
Patriots
team.
are not going.
I'm
into
dying to see Cleveland
Indianapolis
beat
and
them.
Losing. They're not going into Cleveland and losing. They're not going.
I pray to the football gods that Cleveland beats the Patriots this week with Tom Brady and spoils his return.
Keep hope alive. Attend a vigil.
Go money line Cleve, man. Come on, get some.
Hope alive. Listen, there's some things that's not happening, and the Patriots are an elite team. The Broncos are an elite team. In the NFC, I think it's a little bit different. I don't think you really have elite teams in the NFC like you have them in the AFC. Also, the Steelers to me are an elite team, and when you look at the NFC, the only team that I think you could say is elite in the NFC, and I know it's borderline too, would be Green Bay.
I'll give you that.
All right?
I'll give you that. Okay, Green Bay, especially if they get home field throughout the playoffs.
Right.
The Tundra's a very difficult place to play. I mean, it wasn't last year. They lost. They lost to the Bears and the Lions.
Right. And I got it. I know we don't trust them, but hey, maybe this year they finally figured it out. The Atlanta Falcons.
Not this week, though. They got to go to Denver this week, Dream. That's going to be a tough situation.
But I'm saying,
no, if they can move the ball up and down the field in Mile High, I'm a true believer in the Falcons.
But the Falcons, you can't do their regular season stuff and take it. You can't. You have to always take it with a grain of salt because they're one of those regular season juggernauts will implode in the playoffs. But when you look at this team, this team has been around and been successful over the past few years. And you're talking about a quarterback in Matty Ice who's shown a lot of success in the NFL.
Yep.
Julio Jones, obviously one of the most talented wide receivers in the game at this time.
Of course.
They have all the pieces to the puzzle. It's just you don't really trust him. We always expected them to put it together, just didn't think that they could. And it looks like maybe they have figured out how to put it together because they've won games that generally they lose.
They've been winning a lot in the domes. Now they got to go on grass. So I'm pretty interested to see how it fares on the grass moving forward. And Dream, you know what? I mean, right now, if you look at the odds, like all the future odds, guys, there's probably a lot of great value because you're going to find there's no clear-cut, 100% favorite. There's definitely some, you got some 8-1, some 20-1, some 30-1, some 50-1s that you might want to take a look at. Teams that might. I mean, look at Kansas City last year. I'm just going to give you an example. There's a lot of this going on right now. Kansas City was 1-5 last year, Dream. And then they went crazy, and I believe they won, 10 in a row? Something like that, going towards the end of the year. So
they 1-5 at the beginning of the season?
They were 1-5. Yeah, they were awful. And then they won all those games in a row, and they were, and they kind of hung in the Patriots game. But I'm just saying there's a lot of that this year, guys, so pay attention.
There's a couple of teams that are waiting in the wings, sitting and lurking like that, trying to get it together and will resurface, as contenders. And I do think KC sitting there, again, looking like they're going to be 1-5 might be one of them.
Yeah, right. I'm going to tell you right now, I think it's Carolina. I think Carolina, like at 22-1 right now. Listen. They're in that division. I mean, if Atlanta does what we think they're going to do and fall on their face, hey, it's not a bad value, Dream.
I can't with you with Carolina because I told you last year, I never believed that Carolina team was winning last year, and I kept shaking my head saying, how the hell are they doing this?
Yep.
And because, they've gotten, and it's not Cam. Cam's dope. I'm all for Cam being dope and incredible, big quarterback, mobile, the whole package, can throw the ball. It's what they got around him is just not talent.
And with the loss of Josh Norman, their secondary has been brutal.
The loss of Josh Norman has, what? Really, dude?
Yeah.
But that's, that goes to show you because Josh Norman is a system cornerback, which we talked about on this show.
Yep.
And it shows you that one piece of the system, if it's missing or, inadequate or something's a problem, it can really just devastate your whole system, especially from a defensive standpoint.
Sure. And, you still got to pay attention to Seattle. If they start scoring, Jimmy Graham is now in the mix. Maybe they'll be all right.
Team, man, they bother me too. They're another team.
That's the team that goes into San Francisco and loses or something like that. You know what I mean? It's just you just can't trust them exactly. But anyway, Dream, wow, a lot of football to talk about.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about football. But before we move on, I think we need to talk about what exactly went down in the MLB yesterday.
Well, first thing first. The Toronto Blue Jays laid the smacketh down on the Texas Rangers. Cole Hamels got murdered in this game. They won 10-1, Dream.
They had CSI outside the park.
Wow.
They put up the crime scene tape. Cole was asked to walk down.
Cole.
His dusty ass
And that's their ace.
to the locker room.
Their ace got blown up in Texas, guys. So
let me ask you, are you worried or what? What do you think?
if you're a Texas fan, let's play the opposite side. If you're a Toronto fan, you're in really good shape because you want to steal that one game out of two in Texas. They already got it done. So I wouldn't be surprised if Texas got the job done and Toronto was like, whatever, we got our one game handled. So let's bring it back to the Rogers Center. But, I was very shocked. I did not have a play on yesterday's game, but just looking at the score, and they were up a touchdown, like 7-0 in the fourth inning, Dream. And I was like, whoa, this is pretty crazy. So now they're going to go versus Hugh Darvish, who has been, he's been good, but a little bit up and down. This Toronto team, hey, maybe they woke up. And maybe they're going to be a force to be reckoned with here, man. So that's something to take a look at as far as that's concerned. Now, going into the other game that is a sore subject for me was the Boston Red Sox. And Rick Porcello also gave up some meatballs, Dream. And you know what? I was very happy to see that Rick Porcello was actually pitching yesterday in a game one. Because, Price pitched on Sunday, but Price is going to go on the bump today. They have to win this game today. They can't fall down 0-2 to Cleveland.
You know what I liked about what the Red Sox did yesterday?
What's that?
They never really gave up, and it looked like they should have given up. Because I was like, the Red Sox they about to get ran out the building, and they held their poise, and did stay focused. Now they lost the game,
right?
But they were in this game the whole time, and I was checking it out. I was at the bar last night. I was checking out the game. I watched a good portion of that while I was looking at the Niner game as well. That Cleveland team, dude, they're pesty.
They're pesty, exactly. But you know what? I felt really good about the Red Sox like the whole game.
Okay.
I was looking at them and they fell down 5-3. I think it was actually. I'm just trying to remember the score here because I was doing the same thing. I was doing college football, pro football, and the MLB game. But you always have that feeling that the Red Sox can get it done and score at will and could score 3-4 runs in an inning. And Big Papi stranded a lot of runners.
That's your boy, Fat
Struck it out, man. I was like, no way. You just wanted to see a bomb come off his bat, But hey, the Red Sox, we'll see what ends up going down with them. All they have to do is steal one game in Cleveland. And you know what? It sucks because it's such a crappy situation because if they just won a couple more games down the stretch, instead of just kind of being lackluster, I hate that. I hate when teams do that towards the tail end of the year. Listen, you got to keep your foot on the gas. You need home field advantage. You don't need it, but it's a really nice luxury to have in the postseason, whether it's football or baseball or basketball, Dream.
Right.
Home court, home field, home turf, whatever it is, home ice. It's so important. And look at what happened. If that game's in Boston, they probably win the game, Dream. So, I don't know. Hey, it is what it is, and that's their problem. And I just hope that they can get the job done versus Cleveland and steal that one game, go back to Boston, and close it out. That's what I'm hoping for, Dream.
I know you are, but I'll be honest with you. That Cleveland team is tough. Now, I do have the Red Sox. I did took them in the series.
Good.
I took them for the series.
All right.
Did a little series parlay, Red Sox, Cubs, and I'm hoping it's not heavy. I'm hoping that the Red Sox can get their act together, and I'm hoping that David Price can make
David Price has been
brutal.
But hey, he does have a winning record, Dream. And, his ERA is pretty high, but they love to hit the ball when he's on the mound. So, you know what? And Cleveland's got a lot of injuries, too. So, I think Boston will be all right. I think they'll get through this. It's going to be the next series. It's going to be the challenge, in my humble opinion. But being down 1-0 might be a little bit of a problem. So, hey, anyway, we will keep it moving and going from there. We'll talk about today. We got games all day long for the MLB, guys.
Games for days.
Yes.
Boy. Games for days. Let's get into that, right? You want to get into it right now?
Yeah, we can do that. But I just want to mention one thing, that the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers lost yesterday because they were playing a home team underdog on primetime. But
their spread.
But this.
No, actually, they didn't. Did they cover their spread?
No, they lost the game. They were a favorite.
I'm immune to all. I wear the crosses and garlic around my neck when I put my plays in. And,
you had the teaser, right?
Right.
Oh wow, you got lucky on that one.
When I hit the computer, when I walk into the room, I got the room from The Conjuring, all right? With all the home team doggone prime time, the line movement, sharp money. I got all of that in that room, like the room The Conjuring had.
Yep.
And I walk in there with my cross on, and I have a crucifix, and I have a wooden stake, a silver bullet. I got all of that when I go in there, the Lone Ranger's mask, and go in there and put my play in.
Oh, that's funny. And sure enough, they were down. What were they down? Like 20 points or something like that?
They were down 49-24 in the fourth quarter.
Oh.
And I was like, and you know what's funny is the Niner game wasn't really a wrap at that point neither. So I'm looking at Ada the Zizzer and I'm like, man, this is a little mess, right? Both of them were a mess. All of a sudden, Ada the Zizzer gets right, but I'm like, dude, you're giving 5. You're plus only 5. You're still losing this other game, and I'm like, So I'm trying to watch because you can't watch them all. Well, I couldn't watch them all anyway.
Right.
Plus, I was out at the bar, and cats were not trying to turn on the Western Kentucky.
I know. I took my kid out to eat last night, and they changed the game on him. He was watching that because he's a massive college football fan, and they put the Red Sox game on instead, right in front of his face. He was so mad.
And that was my thing. I almost didn't want to go to the bar because I was like, yo, you're gonna have this Red Sox game on and not the football game on. I'm gonna probably catch a case out at the bar.
Yeah, right.
Situation.
Right, exactly.
Football game on it. And like I said, I couldn't tell them to put Western Kentucky. When I finally got home, I was able to turn one. So listen, they're down all of that. They pull the game to within 4, which is their number. 3, which is their number right now.
Yep.
Dude, they get the ball with less than a minute left on the clock. Now, they got no timeouts up, but they get the ball less than, they got like a minute and like 70 seconds on the clock or whatever, 69 seconds on the clock. He fumbles the ball on the first snap.
Oh, brutal.
They could have won the game.
That's because the call came in, Dream.
Call came in.
The phone call came in. You already know where we're going with that. But anyway, let's move on to, we got games for days all day long. We got the MLB popping. We got the playoffs kicking off right at 1 o'clock. 1:08 to be exact. You got J.A. Happ versus the Texas Rangers, Yu Darvish. And I don't have a line on this game or the next game yet, Dream, but I'm sure it'll be coming out momentarily. When you look at it here, you know that Texas Rangers have been a very, very good team at home, but not last night. What do you got here for numbers on these guys?
Well, first of all, I got numbers. I don't know if you're interested.
Yeah, what do you got?
I got Texas minus 124 over and under of 9, and that's
okay.
probably to be adjusted a little bit. As far as their statistics, I don't have that.
I got it.
The page I use doesn't have that. I'm sorry.
All right, I got it. No problem. So you got J.A. Happ, who is 20-4 with a 3.19 ERA, versus Yu Darvish, who is 7-5 with a 3.41. Should definitely be. You got 2 prolific offenses here. Both teams score almost 5 runs a game, but you got some pretty good pitchers on the bump. Now,
I'm interested in hearing what you're. Go ahead.
The challenge that everybody has with this Toronto team is their bullpen. Bullpen has been one of the worst in baseball all year long, guys. And you know what? It's depleted. And quite frankly, if this game's tight and you're doing live wagering, you probably can go with the Texas Rangers, to be honest with you, because you just know that Toronto bullpen is going to explode at some point. But they were pretty good last night. I got to give it to them. But anybody's good with a 10-0 lead or whatever that was. You know what I'm saying, Dream?
Right.
So looking at it here, I think that Texas will bounce back and get it done. I'm not going to bet the game just because it seems like Toronto's got a little bit of momentum here. But I would not be surprised if the Texas Rangers win this game. I wouldn't be surprised if they advance in the series either, to be honest with you, Dream.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to move over to the next game.
So you think they get it tonight? Is what you're saying?
I think they'll get it. I really do, but I'm not going to bet it. I just don't have the interest in getting involved in it because you know what? Toronto will be up 5-0. I'll be pissed, and I'm not trying to ruin my night. Next one we got on the ticket is the Boston Red Sox at the Cleveland Indians. David Price versus Corey Kluber. And I don't have numbers on this one unless you do.
I don't have numbers on it either.
All right, so they're waiting to kind of figure out what the lines are, both of these guys were their aces last year. David Price, 17-9 with a 3.99 ERA. So his record's stellar, Dream, even with a 4 ERA. Corey Kluber, 18-9 with a 3.31. Boston, coming off the loss last night, 1-6 in their last 7 games. 1-4 straight up in the last 5 on the road. Cleveland 4-1 in their last 5 games. Boston, backs against the wall here, Dream. They got to come out and win this game. They have to. So I would not be surprised if the Boston Red Sox win this game, and I think I'm going to take them. I think this will be the game that I put my money on. And it pains me to say that with David Price. I mean, that is a real tough spot. But I just think that, he's had some real big challenges during the year. Maybe it's flip-flopped. Maybe he's going to have the challenges during the year and be stellar in the playoffs.
Okay.
As well, I'm keeping hope alive here, Dream.
Hope alive.
I'm keeping hope alive.
I happen to be I'm keeping hope alive with you in this particular match.
Yeah.
Just said, I do have the Boston Red Sox for the series. We don't want them to fall 2 games, so I'm going to be right here with you, keeping hope.
Yeah, and Boston, you know how they could do, offensively. I mean, Big Papi had a bad game last night. I mean, he did have one hit, but I have a feeling that this team isn't having it and ties the series today. 1-1. So that's what I'm going to go with the Boston Red Sox. I mean, this team scores almost 5.5 runs a game, Dream. They're never out of the game. And Corey Kluber, you know what he does. Let's just take a look at what Corey Kluber's done when he's faced the Boston Red Sox. Going back to May 20th, he gave up, in 7 innings pitched, gave up 5 hits with 2 earned runs. And right before that, in April, gave up 4 earned runs in 5 2/3 innings. Boston will be able to hit this guy today. I like it. And I just got my fingers crossed that David Price doesn't kick me in the nuts like he always does.
Okay.
So moving on to the next one here, we've got, let's see. We got the National League kicking off here. We got the L.A. Dodgers with Clayton Kershaw at Washington with Max Scherzer on the bump. Dream, L.A. is minus 144.
That's because it's Clayton Kershaw.
Yes, sir. When you look at this guy's Clayton Kershaw, you already know he is a beast on the bump, and the under over is 6. He's 12-4 with a 1.63 ERA. Max Scherzer, 20-7, 2.96 ERA. Dream, that total of 6, I understand it. The reason why I understand it is because the Washington Nationals never seem to hit elite pitching. And we've been saying that since last year. Yep. I've seen it time and time again, guys. Looking at it here, I mean, the Dodgers are 1-5 straight up in the last 6 games. So just kind of, once they clinched the division, just kind of chilled a little bit. Washington is 12-5 in their last 17 games at home. Home team underdog here, Dream, at night. But there's no way in hell you can ever convince me to bet against Clayton Kershaw. Just can't do it. And surprisingly, I mean, the Dodgers, every single year coming up to this year, they out-talented everybody, but couldn't get it done.
Okay.
This year, it seems like they're outplaying everybody. It's a difference. It just seems like I wouldn't be surprised if this team with Clayton Kershaw and Rich Hill, I wouldn't be surprised if this team, and you're gonna think I'm nuts,
yep,
gets through this series and beats the winner of the next series. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw this team in, come the end of October in the World Series. I would not be surprised. With Clayton Kershaw starting out, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball, if not the best.
And my man Rick Lopez tells me that 80% of Kershaw starts have gone over.
Oh, okay. And it's only 6 runs.
Mm-hmm.
And 4 of the last 5 LA Dodgers games have also gone over. Because I know everybody's all high in the Cubs, Dream. But
including me.
But it's still the Cubs.
Including me.
It's still the Cubs. I'm just saying. So that's good.
Everybody high on the Red Sox. I see how they came out the gate yesterday. So
that's only one game.
Back on suspecting the Cubs.
All right, man. So, the Cubs, you know what's crazy, too? The Cubs got to play the Giants. Watch the Giants knock them off.
Oh, you sound like Ooh, somebody hit me up. Who's our caller that calls in for San Fran all the time?
Oh, Frank Vinculato.
Frank Vinculato hit me last night with the San Fran. I'm like, yo, get out of town, player. Don't even try it. Don't even come in. Listen, some of you guys, let me tell you something. Gambling and being a fan is not a good thing to combine.
Dream,
okay?
I'm just going to point something out to you. You remember these awful teams that are either wild cards or, wild cards in football or baseball.
Yep.
Who weren't good like the whole year and all of a sudden, made the Super Bowl or, made it to the World Series. You have that thing going on right now with the San Francisco Giants. They backed into the playoffs big time. I mean, this team was the worst team in the second half of the year, I believe, out of all the teams in the major leagues.
Yep.
Now they go in and beat the Mets. So you know what? The record is right now 0-0. Or maybe 1-0 if you consider the Met game. But, anything goes, Dream. You do got Cueto. You do got Bumgarner.
They're not beating the Cubs. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I'm going out on the limb. I'm making a definitive statement. I'm not going to give you that. San Francisco Giants are built for the October because they got pitching. I know they got pitching. I'm not dumb.
They got pitching.
Guess what? The Cubs got it all, and you know what? Eventually, it's due. Peyton Ball, do another Super Bowl, got it last year. Cubs, do a World Series. They're going to get it this year.
All right.
LeBron, do another championship, got it last. Sometimes you just do in life, and the Cubs are due. In San Francisco, while they backed their way into it, I think they entered the playoffs just because nobody in that division could act right.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we couldn't get nobody to act right.
None of the wild card teams wanted to do anything.
Right.
I mean, the
Nobody
Cardinals.
wanted to really think. And the Mets, look, say what you want about the Mets, decimated by injuries.
Oh, yeah, big time.
I mean, their pitching, fell through for them in the clutch when they needed it. Lost heart. The Harvey situation was a distraction and a headache.
DeGrom.
And, go ahead.
They lost DeGrom, too.
Yeah, they lost DeGrom, too. I mean, come on. The Mets, they limped in there. You know what I'm saying? And then they're the Mets on top of it.
Yep, got it. Well, anyway, I'm just saying that the history of these teams. And there's teams that are built for October, Dream. And the Cubs have not been built for October.
October. That's a nice movie. Denzel Washington. Red October. It's not the San Francisco.
I'm telling you, man. Listen, the Cubs, I'm going to paint a picture. Cubs fall down 1-0 in Wrigley. Panic mode sets in. Arrieta loses. Panic mode sets in. I'm telling you, that's just the way it goes. I know you bet it, and I wish you the best of luck because I didn't take them. So I hope you win. I really do. I'm just saying, beware. That's all I got to say about that one. But anyway, Dream, let's move over to the NCAA.
Gambling scary movie. It's like a Stephen
Beware.
King.
It's like the clowns. Beware. Beware the clowns, Dream.
The San Francisco Giants.
Speaking of Halloween, Dream.
My boy Frank McLeod. Here he is. I knew he was gonna rear his head.
Yes. Speaking of Halloween, Dream, I'm going tomorrow. I'm going to Salem, Massachusetts to do all the Halloween stuff out there.
Dude, it's so funny you mentioned that because I just booked Peabody, which is right next to Salem. I guess it's like 8 minutes from Salem.
Oh, really?
We got to talk about it because I need to know whether I need to go and stay in Salem or if Peabody's going to be sufficient enough. I'm going to bring my San Francisco Giant jersey with me out there and scare people as I'll be in the hunt for Red October.
Whatever you do, guys, don't dress up as a clown because there's all that nonsense going on right now, all them hoaxes. And you know what? You can get shot, you can get beat up. And you know what? I actually feel bad for the people that are actually clowns that are clowns for a living. That do birthday parties and stuff like that because it's killing their business, Dream. It sucks.
No doubt. But Homie the Clown.
Homie the Clown is still alive and well. All right, Dream. Going over to the NCAA football card tonight. We got 5 games. So we got baseball games all day. It's almost like a weekend here. We got 5 games in college football. We've got games all day in baseball, and you've got max effort going on in the playoffs. And the first game on the ticket is the Clemson Tigers, who coming off their big win versus the Louisville Cardinal that I pointed out. Clemson minus 18 with an under over a 44 as they go into Boston College. Dream, Boston College last year, defense was, if not, it was either one of the top or the top in all of football, being, giving up less than 300 yards per game. And they did lose their defensive coordinator. And looking at it last year, what Clemson did to that defense, Clemson was up and down the field nonstop on that defense, Dream. I think they've taken a step down defensively.
Why?
And,
did you look at their numbers?
Yeah, their numbers. I mean, going back to last year, though, Dream, it was definitely apparent. I mean, it's right. Let's just take a look here.
202 player. Their defense has only allowed 202 yards, 78 yards on the ground.
Oh, okay. All right.
24. They have it.
Why am I thinking that they got blown up in a situation here?
They haven't missed us.
Oh, because you know what it was? The Virginia Tech game where Virginia Tech scored 49 points on them. That's what's got me skewed here. But, what do you think of Clemson versus last year? You think that this team is the same?
Clemson?
Yeah.
I don't think they're the same as last year. I mean, they're a very good team, don't get me wrong. I don't think they're the same as last year. There's something missing on the rhythm side of that offense that just can't seem to get clicking. They go through in and out of spurts and inconsistency in the games that I've seen them. 1 minute they look absolutely brilliant, and then the next minute they look absolutely dusty. So I can't put my finger on what it is. Maybe it could be the play calling. Maybe they need to dial up some different things on offense.
Okay.
Maybe they got a little steam last week. I mean, beating Louisville, big win. This is a very, very interesting spot for Clemson because you wonder after the big win, one of those trap letdown spots, I do still think that the program is just so leaps and bounds above Boston College with the athletes that they have that they will definitely find a way to win this game. However, I would not lay the 17 tonight because Boston College is very up for them. Mm-hmm. They're going to be at home.
Right.
They're going to be excited. They're obviously going to want to play Clemson. Now, they are definitely had a little wake-up call probably against Virginia Tech, and everybody's saying, look, once you played a decent team, you guys stunk. You've been beating up on bums, so you're nobody. So they've been, screaming at to each other, for most of the week, I'm sure. So I would expect Boston College to bring their A game. I think at the end of the day, though, Clemson obviously is going to win this game. You have to get rid of the points, though, because this is one of those typical situations. You'll turn this game on. It could be 21-27 in the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying?
You got to get it under 10, Drew. You can't get rid of the point. You get rid of the points, you're not making any money.
No.
At all. So, looking at it here, the under-over is 44.
Talking about a T situation. You're going to have this is something you're going to have to add, marathon it, put it with other stuff.
Yeah. Right, exactly. So, yeah, looking at it here, I mean, Clemson, minus the 18 points tonight, averaging 35.2 points per game, only allowing 16 total. And that, you got one of the best, you got the best offense sprinkled into their schedule there in Louisville. This is a tough one here. You know what? The line, I think, is right on. I think it's dead on, to be honest with you. So there's going to be a situation here. You and I talked about it. We think Clemson's going to lose at some point, guys. I don't know if they're going to be able to run the table. I do think they're getting better as the games go on, though, Dream.
Of course. Well, they're finding different things that are successful and they're working.
Yeah.
So they're going to redial it up again, as they move forward in their schedule.
Right, exactly. So moving on here, guys, and Dream, I'm going to just announce these games and feel free to discuss any one of them you want because we got 4 other games on the ticket. We got SMU versus Tulsa. Tulsa minus 17 points with an under-over of 65. We've got UMass going into Old Dominion. That's probably your game of the week, Dream.
I would like you to shut down right at the Tulsa SMU game, as Tulsa was able to beat Fresno last week, 48-41 in overtime, double overtime. Tulsa's got SMU coming into town tonight. SMU is bad hat. We're talking about a bad football team. We talked about it before. They lose to TCU. They lose to Temple. They lost to Baylor. They're working on a bunch of bad losses and probably not feeling themselves and feeling that good about what they do. Ben Hicks, 62 for 162, 1,000 yards, a little bit over 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, though, on the season. So when they put the ball through the air, he does like to turn it over a little bit. You look at the Tulsa side, we have Evans at the helm for QB, 888 yards this season through the air, 8 touchdowns, and he's got 6 interceptions himself. So we expect to see some turnovers in this particular matchup. However, On the defensive side, you look at Tulsa, giving up 381 yards this season, passing yards allowed 225, rushing yard 155. I mean, we're going to see a little bit of offense. We're going to see a little bit of turnovers, probably a little bit of a sloppy game, but I do like Tulsa at home in this particular spot to get a win over SMU. SMU has played some decent competition, but lost embarrassingly to most of it. I don't expect them to be really involved in this game as far as from an offensive standpoint. I don't expect them to be pesty against Tulsa tonight. I think Tulsa gets this win.
I have not seen Tulsa play at all, to be honest with you. The only game I saw SMU play was the Baylor game.
Right.
And it was, believe it or not, Dream, they were close in that game for a while.
For a minute.
And this was towards the beginning of the year. I think this was the first or second game of the year.
It was
second
September
game.
10th.
Yeah, second game. I mean, they ended up losing the game 40-13, but in the first half, I believe it was tied for a while.
Started out kind of tight. Yeah.
Oh, it was awful. Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I mean, Tulsa's superior in like every single statistical category I'm looking at on the board. So, I don't know. You know what? Teams that I don't watch live, I have to do my own eye test. I mean, you can give me all the trends in the world. You can give me all the stats in the world. I need to see it firsthand, Dream.
And we both pretty much for the most part do it that way. I'm the same way. Fortunately, I have a little bit of experience with this Tulsa team.
Okay.
And I think I've done like a couple of plays with them this season that I've been on. And I've seen a little bit of their offense. I've been impressed. They do get it done when they're in their crib. Kind of a hard place to play, for other teams coming in there. I mean, you know how that works with college football in general.
Yeah, right.
So definitely a tough place to play. And SMU got to be not really feeling themselves right now. But once again, you have to manipulate these numbers. I would feel a little bit more comfortable with Tulsa, though, at home than I feel with Clemson. I know Clemson's a powerhouse, but coming off of that big win last week, you just worry about their preparation against Boston College after that big situation that they had.
Got it. Okay, so UMass Old Dominion, we talked about that. We've got Tulane at UCF, Dream, Central Florida. I haven't been on Central Florida in years.
Since that awful year that they murdered you.
Guys, I had a year where Central Florida was my Western Michigan of this year, where I couldn't lose with them. They even went into the bowl game and beat an elite team, and I forgot who it was. I made so much money in 1 year. And then the next year...
If I'm not mistaken, didn't they beat Baylor?
It wasn't Baylor.
It wasn't Baylor.
It wasn't Baylor. It was somebody else. They beat Baylor in a bowl game after that, though.
Okay.
Remember that? They
do.
that was a tough. Baylor was favored by like 20 points and they lost. Yep. But the next year, Central Florida just laid an egg, and it had a lot of returning players too. And I just could not figure out why this team lost their mojo and ended up giving all that money back. To be honest with you, well, a good portion of it anyway. But looking at this, you got Tulane at Central Florida, the Florida Knights. Curious to know what the weather is out there with the hurricane and all that, Dream.
Yeah, I'm surprised that this game is still going down because I think a couple of games already got postponed for tomorrow that were scheduled.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm interested. I'm surprised that this game is actually happening. So we'll keep an eye on that as far as the weather is concerned. As you know, Florida is bracing themselves for a little bit of weather as that storm is coming in.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's been there. It's been there so far. So, and the last game on a ticket is
part of it's supposed to roll in there now. I'm going to say like now and tomorrow.
Yeah, and here's the problem with it. From what I understand, the storm is going up the coast, then curving to the right, and then making a U-turn back, Dream.
Okay.
Oh, that sucks. So, guys, listen, if you're in Florida listening to the show, I know a lot of people are stubborn and want to stay in their homes and stuff like that, but if you're in a real bad, dangerous situation, you got to get out of there. I mean, that's what you got insurance for anyway. So, if anything
dusty, just help it out a little bit.
Yeah, right.
Turn the water on imbalance.
No doubt. All right, so turn the water on imbalance. You're nuts, man. All right, you get a brand new crib after all. All right, so Boise State 4-0, Dream going into New Mexico.
No weather came in this area playing. How did your house get flooded out?
Grimy. So grimy. All right.
Let no weather come through Connecticut, by the way.
Yeah, right.
So you know.
Both of these teams, Boise State and New Mexico, score a lot of points. Boise State, just about 34 points a game, where New Mexico is roughly about 38. So, looking at these two teams who you've got Boise State. Let's see what the line is on this particular game is 17.5. Jim, you got a lot of 17s and 18s tonight.
Yeah, tonight's 17 and 18 night. And by the way, guys, that was a joke. I am not telling anybody to do anything now. Just sit their home, please. because Cats will be, Dream said,
Listen to this.
right in jail.
Yeah, they playing the show for the authorities. Yeah, nice.
I mean, I'll be in the background going, we ain't seen so-and-so in it forever. Where is he at? Ever since that storm.
So, New Mexico, though, Dream, you got to give them the knot on the ground. 347 yards on the ground. That's got to put them at one of the top rushing in all the land, no? They're averaging.
I don't know if that puts them on the top, but it's pretty impressive.
That's very impressive.
We haven't talked a lot about their running back. Gibson's been getting it done on the ground. 31 carries, 399 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Now, the problem is it is against the old dirty Dusties.
Right.
Talk about, San Jose State, South Dakota, Ada the Zizzer. I mean, New Mexico State. I mean, they're doing it against, some nobodies. So you keep that in mind. Now, this is like maybe an revenge game as far as Boise State are concerned because New Mexico upset them last year.
Okay.
So I don't really know if that's if that is an issue to be thinking about because Boise State, in my opinion, need to just stay focused on just winning the game. Don't even think about getting involved in any of that. Brett Rippon is at the helm for Boise State. We're talking about 1,024 yards through the air, 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and they're getting the ball moved on the ground with McNichols. 89 carries, 504 yards, 7 touchdowns as well. Boise State's offense has been, pretty decent this season. They've been able to rack up the total yards, 475 total yards, but those Lobos are right there with 476.
Yeah, and the Lobos are number 2 in all of college football on the ground. 347 yards on the ground per game. Second to Army, Dream. Army's 374.8.
Very impressive.
Yes. Oh, man, that's a tough game, though. 17.5 points seems like a lot.
Does seem like a lot. These are those exotic teasers, that 14-point.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 14 pointers.
Get that 14-pointer popping with all 5 on the card this evening.
I don't know. I don't like Boise in this spot, man. I just don't.
It is a probably tough spot for Boise traveling, but Boise, yes, I mean they've been successful this season.
Yeah.
They're undefeated. Obviously, beat who you play. They do schedule some of their competition, so you can't say play somebody decent, but you got to beat who you play. And they've been successful this season. I don't love them because I don't love the spread number, but I think they win this game.
Well, Dream, if you look at Boise's schedule, they did beat Washington State, which is impressive.
Sure.
Oregon State, not so impressive. Utah State, okay. I'll give you that. But they beat Northern Illinois 55-7 in Northern Illinois, Dream.
Okay.
And guess who gets to play Northern Illinois this week?
Who's that?
My new squad, Western Michigan, baby.
I do need to clean up something for you, though.
What's that?
Game was in Boise.
It's in Boise?
They beat Northern Illinois in Boise.
Oh, really? It says at Northern Illinois here on my board. Interesting. Whatever. Who cares? Either way, 55-7, and Western Michigan's coming to town.
And that game, that's last year's game, isn't it? Look at the date on that. I got 12-23-15.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm already off the page, man.
Yeah, the 55-7 game, that's last year's play.
Northern Illinois stinks, Dream. They're 1-4 this year, and I'm waiting, guys. I'm waiting for Western Michigan on Saturday. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna put it out there right now and get ready to rock. So. That's going to do it for college football, Dre. Right. Unless you got anything else up your sleeve. You good?
I'm good.
All right, guys. So that's going to do it for the show. Thank you very much for joining us each and every day. The biggest show in the world, the SBTV Nation. Dream, what do you got to do to close out of here?
Hey, we want to thank everybody who retweeted the show as we always do. It's a customary practice right now to thank all the people out there that get down with us every morning and give us their support and their help. And we, by the same token, try to give you an entertaining program as well. I want to thank Terrence Mack, Joseph Del Rosario, Louis Cypher, okay? That particular name, Louis Cypher, Angel Heart, you guys remember the movie? And it's the nickname for the devil, Lucifer, Louis Cypher. I love that. Frank Vincolado's out there, JDH24. Useless information that you do not need to know.
Yes.
Fun at parties, though. Kill Cam 505, Kia VU, Sin City Maverick, Theory, Bashard, Marlon, Mo Diggs, Irvin, Jeff Ryan, Kruk, C. Rodriguez Jr., that's C. Rod, Rick Lopez, Sir Mata. We got It Be Easy out there, Vegas Jack, Stoopy Ben. Vegas Girl 92661 in the house. We got that. Look, my girl Jackie, ain't mention her name in a minute. She's out there as well. Can't forget our ladies. Gang, it's a night off for me, most likely. If I get involved with anything, I may end up taking one of those marathon parlays that Hat likes to get involved with. Mm-hmm. And the reason I go parlay instead of teaser is because I'm thinking about getting involved with this Red Sox team. So I may go marathon parlay, go Red Sox. I may have the money line Clemson, which I know, but I'm
really.
It'll be like a 10.
Why bother?
No, I know. It'll be like I know. I'm just saying. It'll be like a 10-team parlay that'll run into Saturday if I get involved. But most likely, it's just going to be the Red Sox, and who knows? I probably won't do it. We got some success last night, so why push it? You don't, if it's not broke, don't try to fix it. Got a plethora of games for you lined up for tomorrow. We'll be back with Dr. Dan in the house. Hat will be there. Myself will be there. We got a lot of stuff going on tomorrow, so be sure to check us out. I'm the Dream. Always remember who you with. Make the most of each and every day, because you cannot get this time back.
Guys, just remember that if you got those heavy spreads and you're afraid because it doesn't make any money, you can always cut it in half and bet the first half money line too. Could always do that. Dream, I know you hate doing that.
I do hate doing the first half because I'm a second. I like you said, the eye test. Rather see what they're doing in the first half and then make my adjustments with the second half. I'm better of a second half player. And you know what I've been having a lot of success at with the second half? Team totals. Totals in the second half. I meant to talk about this before. Sorry, but you segued into it, so I'm just going to talk for a second. Team totals in the second half have worked very well for me, especially in losing situations. If you see the right number, you get those 10s, sometimes 7s. Beware of that half a point, though, because they murder you with the half a point. But you can just see that, this team is going to be successful in the second half because you can see what they've done in the first half. Take a look at that, gang, and add that to your portfolio.
Your repertoire. Exactly. Guys, we love you to death. Go out there and go easy. Do whatever it is you got to do whatever it is you want to do and get that money. Let's go.
Papa Smurf, you ain't right.